What is up, friends, and welcome to my channel. And in today's video I have some very exciting news. I've been talking to one of my good buddies from high school, and he just so happens to produce his own music. And so he was nice enough to send me over some jams to use as background music for my videos. And so going forward, every single one of my videos are going to have music produced by him. And so I've gone ahead and linked his Instagram and SoundCloud, and they will stay there down in the description box down below. And I highly recommend for you to check out his SoundCloud, listen to some of the music that he's produced, and follow him on Instagram. He is an extremely talented individual and is very good at the things that he does. And in today's video, I wanted to continue Austin's story time with a new and interesting story about how I helped save 34 dogs. And so how this all began was I was living with at that time my girlfriend and now my ex, and we would hear these sounds coming from our neighbor's house. And we're in a very rural area, and so we're probably the closest neighbor to this woman who lived there. And so the sounds were extremely blood-curdling, extremely bad sounds of what was clearly somebody who was abusing an animal. And so, of course, the very first time that we heard these noises, we reported it to the police. And the officer that ended up showing up was the older brother of a guy that I went to high school with, and I know, small town vibes, but he was very nice and a very straightforward guy. And we would always have, long and very interesting conversations with him when he came up for other reasons that I can get into in other stories. And no, it's not because I did anything wrong or illegal, but he was very straightforward with me, and he told me that basically anecdotal evidence is not evidence enough for him to go in and look and see if she has dogs in there that she's abusing. At the time we thought she had at least one dog, and so he ended up going out on his free time and just reporting it to the SPCA. And then the SPCA ended up coming to my house, which props to this guy because he went out on his free time to investigate this. And, thank God that he did. And so he asked me if he could stand on the property line of my house and take pictures of her house. And that's something I would have done myself. However, this woman really did not like me, and after I had reported her to the police, she tried to, and this sounds like I'm making this up, she tried to frame me for stealing stuff from her house. She called the police, told them that I had stolen her pills and her computer, and that she could see the footprints leading to my house. And which is ridiculous because we're talking about an extremely rural area, like grasslands and woods and stuff like that. And so the officer that showed up was the same guy who showed up before, and he didn't even take it seriously. We just had a nice conversation and talked about how crazy that lady was, basically. And so when the SPCA guy came up to investigate and he took those pictures to the police department, and then they were actually able to use that to obtain a warrant and get into this lady's house, thank God. And they ended up rescuing 34 dogs, which at the time I never imagined she had 34 dogs in there. And it turns out that she was running a puppy mill, and these dogs were living in extremely inhumane environments. And after this, it ended up getting reported by NBC News Bay Area, and I will link that article down in the description box down below if you guys are interested and want more details on this whole thing. But I do have a little bit of details of what happened to that lady afterwards. She ended up passing away, and when she did, her house got passed down to her daughter. And when that happened, they had to start cleaning the house out to sell it, and pictures were taken and various things like that, and the place was an absolute mess. It was like an episode of Hoarders, and I could never imagine somebody living in there with 34 dogs. And so that's my story, guys. I hope you enjoyed it a little bit, even though it is a terrible story. And thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.